yesterday we announced Operation Economic Fury. As we have told countries that if you are buying Iranian oil, that if Iranian money is sitting in your banks, we are now willing to apply secondary sanctions, which is a very stern measure, and the Iranians should know that this is going to be the financial equivalent of what we saw in the kinetic activities.
Is this an example of expanding the war economically as opposed to militarily? Is this another phase of that?
Exactly.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership. I am truly grateful to be a member of your team here at this table to help support you in delivering on the promises that you made to the American people. You came in with a very clear mandate of taking on the rampant weaponization, politicization of the intelligence community and federal law enforcement, experiencing yourself, the deep state abusing their power as they have against you, your family, and so many of the American people. Bring out accountability truly for those who have abused their power, making sure that the intelligence community is supporting your efforts in keeping the American people safe, secure, and free, and being the president of peace. I'm grateful to be in this position as your Director of National Intelligence to support you in these efforts, and I'll cover very briefly what we've done over the last year under your leadership and what we look forward to continuing to focus on next year. First of all, under your leadership, again, we've taken on a historic effort for transparency, declassification, and exposing these abuses of power by these deep state actors. We've declassified over 500,000 documents, many of which had never been seen before by the American people, put them online to bring about this level of transparency. We formed a weaponization working group, again, to be able to go after a lot of these abuses of power that have never seen the light of day, to support the accountability that under Pam Bondi's leadership in the Department of Justice is coming about. Secondly, bringing about reform to the intelligence community to make sure that we have the most effective and efficient and focused workforce that's really working on bringing about the priorities you have laid out in ensuring our country's security. And lastly, Mr. President, working with many of our partners here around the table is going after these domestic threats. We have threats coming from both Islamist ideology as well as Islamist terrorists, foreign terrorist organizations, and those who seek to do harm to the American people, many of whom were let in across our borders under the previous administration. We are focused on these tasks and this imperative for the American people, and just appreciate your leadership, Mr. President, in empowering us to be able to conduct this service. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Buzz here with your commodities news. Busted. Iran has been allegedly caught sneaking oil into Italy. According to the Wall Street Journal, Italy's major oil firm Eni has a contract with Iraq and ordered the cargo through Nigeria. Upon inspection, Eni noticed qualities consistent with Iranian crude. Iran oil exports violate U.S. sanctions, which are expected to tighten further amid rising tensions.
I know. I mean, Spain and France have closed their airspaces to planes involved in this war. Italy won't even allow the use of a base in Sicily.
What is the purpose of being an alliance whose benefit to us is these basing rights if in a time of conflict like the one we've had with Iran, they can deny us the use of those bases? So why are we there for? Only to protect them, but not to further our national interest? This is a very legitimate question that we need to address.
And we pay 2/3 of the bill. Mr. Secretary, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Explosive new documents released by outgoing DNI Tulsi Gabbard, reviving questions about Dr. Anthony Fauci's role in funneling taxpayer dollars to experiments tied to the origins of COVID-19 in Wuhan, China. Our correspondent Brooke Taylor is reporting live on this out of Dallas. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Sandra. Well, Tulsi Gabbard released hundreds and hundreds of pages of declassified documents that she says shows a massive COVID-19 cover-up.
I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions.
The documents show intelligence officials weighing the lab leak theory as early as March of 2020. One official wrote that policymakers were hearing claims the virus was, quote, genetically engineered. Another asked, it's possible it could have been engineered, right? Gabbard points to whistleblower allegations that intelligence analysts who supported the lab leak theory, well, they face professional consequences and retaliation. The documents also focus on U.S. taxpayer-funded COVID research tied to China. According to the records, EcoHealth Alliance received funding from the National Institutes of Health for a project called, quote, Understanding the Risk of Bat Coronavirus Emergence. The documents identify the Wuhan lab as a research partner and show at least $66,500 in U.S. grant money was spent in China. Now, one of the most explosive claims made is that Fauci allegedly lied under oath during his 2024 congressional testimony, where he denied knowledge of discussions with U.S. intelligence officials about that COVID-related research.
The second issue is a false accusation that I tried to cover up the possibility that the virus originated from a lab. In fact, the truth is exactly the opposite.
And we have tried to reach out to Fauci for comment about these documents and allegations. We reached out to the Georgetown Global Health Institute. Still waiting to hear back, Sandra.
All right, Brooke Taylor out of Dallas on that for us. Brooke, thank you. John.
All right, Sandra, more on this now. Dr. Mark Siegel, Fox News senior medical analyst. This all revolves around this famous moment from May 11th, 2021, where Dr. Rand Paul, Senator Rand Paul, and Dr. Fauci go around the horn on whether or not the U.S. ever funded gain-of-function research at the WIV. Listen here.
The NIH and NIAID categorically has not funded gain-of-function research to be conducted in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. We have not funded gain-of-function research on this virus in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. I don't know how many times I can say it, Madam Chair. We did not fund gain-of-function research to be conducted in the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
So, Doc, from what we know of this document released from the ODNI, does that change?
Yeah, here's how I look at this, and you could call it semantics or you can call it what you want. I'm not going to look at it legally, but first of all, I interviewed Dr. Fauci multiple times during the pandemic, and it was clear to me that he believed strongly that it didn't come from the lab, but he was looking for allies in that belief, including George Gao, head of CDC in China, and he said to me multiple times, I have an open mind about this, but he was clearly convinced it didn't come from the lab, and he looked for narratives to support that. Now, when he says, and this is the tweak part, we at the NIH did not fund gain-of-function research, here's what really is true. The NIH did fund EcoHealth Alliance and Peter Daszak, who was working and funding direct research from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and Shijing Li, who was running this research, where they did add human receptors. And this is what's coming out of the Tulsi Gabbard documents.
Pascal, I would like to begin with what might have been a trigger for your whistleblowing. You come from a very important Bahraini family, and your Swiss side is equally important. You're a direct descendant of a former Swiss president, as a matter of fact. You were headed toward quite a predictable career in international banking, and that's how things started out for you. When and why did that change? What exactly was the trigger?
The card house of lies got destroyed by pulling one card, and that was your president. He pulled the card after being lied to by his advisors. He's not a doctor. He's not a toxicologist. He's a businessman and a peacemaker, after all. He got lied to as high treason. And the consequences will come very soon.
Copyright GeoStrat Agency LLC 2026.
I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. And I will never leave a fallen comrade. We will never leave a fallen comrade. We will not neglect those who are injured, sick, or in need. I won't divulge internal conversations. I will say that those of us within the intelligence community continue to provide the president with all of the best objective intelligence available to inform his decisions.
The last what the world wants is an insecure United States. We need a strong, healthy, wealthy, self-competent, not warmongering United States to keep peace. It's the way your president is managing things. President Trump, that is.
War in this context and in pursuit of peace is necessary.
They're not the bully of the Middle East anymore.